So I was really excited to try these Tough Girls nails. I had seen them on Amazon and wanted to give them a go. They come with everything you need, as you'll see here: nail file and cuticle pusher, which is important, your nail wipes, and this 100% adhesive guarantee is very important. It's the only brand that I know that really has something like that. Great little insert for how to apply if you've never used them before, or nail strips in general. And here are the strips. Nice little packaging. So the first thing you would always do is prep your nails. The number one most important thing that people forget, and then they have problems with nail wraps, nail strips, whatever. You have to prep your nails. Pushing your cuticles back is very important, because if the strip adheres to your cuticle, that is going to be a place where it will easily lift, and then you obviously won't have as good of wear and longevity as you would otherwise. So push those cuticles back, people. And then, file your nails, get the shape that you want. I just kind of did that for showing you, to do it. My nails are already pretty much in as good a shape as they were going to be anyway. And then the alcohol prep pads that come with. This gets rid of any oils, any residues that are on your nails that can also impact how well they stay on and adhere to your nail. So another great step. You can also wash your hands with Blue Dawn soap. Dry them really well though. And as you'll see here, I struggle opening the packaging of the nail strips themselves. And I was pretty shocked. I've never had a package this difficult to open. So I went ahead and grabbed my cuticle trimmers to try and kind of use them as scissors to rip them open, and it was still very difficult. I had to go in there more than once. And then I finally said, hey, give me the pusher and try and open it up that way. Success, finally. I guess in the future, use a real scissor. And out they come. They look great. There's a little clear plastic cover over the strips to keep them protected. And now we're just going to size them up. Another very difficult part. So I would say if you're new to this nail strip brand, the hardest part is finding the right size for your nail. And you'll peel it off like I did, and just, you want to always put it to the cuticle, not on the cuticle. And since this was my first attempt with this nail brand, you'll notice that the strip I chose for my pinky is obviously too small. But in this situation, we're just going to roll with it. It'll still look nice. If anything, it'll adhere better because there's space around my nail, around the edges of my nail. And I was just testing to see if I could rip it, since this is a Color Street dupe. And no, I cannot. So here we go with my cuticle trimmers again, just to kind of perforate that strip. I try to keep it to a minimum for the excess. And then I just put that back onto the paper, hoping that I can use it later. We'll find out. And then you'll take your nail file and just file it down. I always go in a downward motion like that, at least initially, just to make sure that I'm not pulling off any part of the strip. As an Avid Color Street user, that is very important because the strips are so thin. These are much thicker. And you can kind of see it perforating as I go. Looks pretty good, I think. Pretty impressive. And then on to the next nail. I did notice that this brand, the ends tend to be a little boxier, which is actually great for me. My cuticles are not necessarily very, that beautiful curve. So sometimes I'll still have, it'll be hard for me to get it perfect on my nail just because of how my nail beds are shaped and my cuticle line. So I actually like this brand for that reason. They seem to fit a little bit better on my nail shape. Again, just snipping off that excess. I think a manicure scissor would actually work better than this, but you use what you got, right? Gonna try and save that one for later. While I was recording this, I did realize that trying to file my nails while recording underneath the camera is pretty difficult, so bear with me, but I seem to be able to get the job done. And since they are thicker than Color Street, you definitely need to file a little bit more. But I always, like you'll see, I didn't file it for it to completely fall off. If you overfile, you risk tearing and having it look chipped right from the beginning. So just file enough to see it perforate, and then you either use your finger or the cuticle pusher to kind of gently remove it away from the rest of the nail. And you'll see some sides of the strip are different than the other, so you can have a little bit of creativity on your own to pick which side you want to use. I didn't look that closely this time at them to see if they are slightly different sized. They might be, so that if one size doesn't fit well enough, you can use another. So here you'll notice I got a little bit of it on my cuticle, so I'm just using the cuticle pusher to kind of wiggle my way in there and push the cuticle back so that the strip can rest completely on the nail so that I don't have issues later. And I'm just gently pushing it back while pushing down on the strip. Seemed to work pretty well. You can see there, just kind of pulling back the cuticle line. In with the file. Looking pretty good. Another thing is these strips tend to be a little bit smaller, I think, than Color Street. There are definitely more sizes too, which is great, because my pointer fingers, as you'll see, are much smaller than, or about the same size, I guess you could say, as my ring finger. And with Color Street, I typically use up that size strip on my ring finger, obviously, and I struggle with what to use on my pointer, but Tough Girls has enough of the smaller ones to easily fit my pointer finger as well, as you can see. Snip, snip. Just trying to get a little bit more of that excess off. Ideally, you want to get as close to your nail as possible when you're cutting off the excess. It just means there's less to file. Okay, now it's thumb time. And here is where these strips actually work great on my nails. Because like I said, they're a little bit boxier and my thumbs are very kind of squared at the base. And Color Street strips are so curved that I always have these huge gaps on the sides at the base. And you'll see what I mean here, which I don't have using Tough Girls. And I did flip it around on this one because I wanted the cute little triangle at the base of my nail. Looks good on that side. Oh, this one is a little bit big for my nail. You'll see I'm going in with the cuticle pusher to try to see if I can get under there and push it back, but I don't think that is going to work for this nail, so I've got another idea up my sleeve. Yes, the cuticle scissors. I'm going to cut off the excess here to make it a little bit more manageable to work with. And then I'm going to take it down the side of my nail where there's excess on my skin. And now this is tricky in itself, and then try recording at the same time. It doesn't look very glamorous, but it really worked. And so if that happens to you, this is definitely a little trick that you can utilize. And you can see how well it fits the shape of my thumbnail. Looks great. Probably one of the best fits on my thumbnail that I've ever had. Well, there you have it, my friends. Tough Girls nail strips, or nail wraps, whatever you want to call them. It's all the same to me.